Lynn knows. Lynn, if we can start with you.
I just said at the back Julian and the other two, but I've really got my summary time to repeat what I've already said for one more question.
Yeah, okay, alright. Yes.
Point is that as Nathan, I've also been accepted by university, which I had to turn down because I'm a travel and tourism student, and going into industry, I'm fully aware that I won't be earning a high amount. So the debt that I would be in, it would take me so long to pay back, and the only way I can afford to go to university is the fact that I have to base it on my parents' income because they're both retired. That's the only way I can afford to do a HEC, and that's all I can do. My question to you was that you said about that there's enough data about what will happen in the future and you wait for the review. Have you looked at the resources that they've provided about and detail about alternatives to what the system is now?
I have, but I do think there are other alternatives, other options that haven't been put into the system. So I'm not going to sit here and say Lord Mandelson, but there are some things come through about the 2 years, the compressed courses. And I think there is more to be put in before decisions are made. I don't disagree with some of the things that were saying yesterday. But to your point, you are looking at a parent who was actually where your parents are. So my daughter didn't qualify for much towards what they thought. So we had to sit down and I was saying, what were we going to do about what could take out from our savings? After the same with my other 2 kids who couldn't do it for one child, not know where they want to go. And it's just dreadful. And she's at the point now where she just works 3 nights a week and every weekend she can, and the holidays, and to the point where I'm thinking, well, she's just going to kill her with exhaustion for working as waitress. So all for what, given that the recession has got people out for a job. So what I'm saying is they are hard choices, and I don't disagree at all. But you've taken the choice. There are other options in the HCT. You could go back and do graduate courses later.
What do you mean this is the only choice that? What choice I make now may affect my upbringing because I'm one of 8 children and my next sister is 16, so if this affects her, then she can't go either, so it will be raised with my parents all the time. So the effect of it will apparently be dreadful.
Your choice to take on a level of debt or not willing to take on. I'm not saying that's the level of debt that's easy, but it is a choice you're making. You're saying my parents can't afford to help me, I do not want to be saddled around debt, therefore I'm going to do something else. At least you do have a choice. You're not saying my parents can't afford it.
My next comment then, that would be, it's amazing listening to you because you want to go to uni to do travel and tourism and that's what people do, it's a great thing to do. My father was in the travel. But there must be different ways of looking at it. But the fact that we've got so many people wanting to go to university in 3 years coming out in debt, there's got to be a completely different way if you're qualified to do the job that you want to do. There's got to be like paid internships, there's got to be paid apprenticeships, where the employer actually gets paid for having you at £55, £60 a week. This is our policy. You can then do a day release and do the qualification that way, but you are not getting further into debt, but will come out with the same qualification in the end.
To be fair, I think we'll all part of the apprenticeships and do something.
But we need to pay employers rather than, there is a massive shortage of employers who will take on apprentices at this point in time. And we have to look at the whole education system and why people want to go to university and what they come out with in the end, and can they afford to pay off that debt.
One comment as well. Just got a question now. I completely agree with what you said. I think, and to certainly with what was it too, I think this principle about people paying through back later in life, I think that's where we are. I think the question, I think you're absolutely right. The people who have, I think it would be completely wrong if people were priced out of certain universities. That would be completely wrong. I was very lucky. I got into school, I went to Oxford. I had a good friend there who was adult education. Later in life, he got kids, he was 27, he'd done a higher education course through his trade union, and then gone on to Oxford as well. He's now a teacher in South Wales. He had no money at all, but never let the system work, he could do that. The system must still do that. It must still do that. But the principle is about people pay. I made the comment I did at the beginning, I was wondering, because I think if the end of the system after review, where colleges have got the right to charge variable amounts, I think everyone should have to make a case to justify whatever type of fee they're proposing. But I would be against a massive escalation of fees for top universities, which meant that only wealthy could go. But all of this, one thing I'll say, all of this is against the context of record numbers of people going into higher and further education. So the idea, I think, that this is an absolute block on people doing it is totally wrong. Anything that was a problem last year was not being enough places. We're the party said we would fund additional places for higher and further education as a priority. But it's absolutely right that people with the skills and the desire to take these places up shouldn't be put off by the way that these are structured. I'm sure there's a way of doing that, and that's what we're released for.
Okay, guys, we're nearly out of time. We've got just one more comment, and we haven't heard from this side of the room yet. And this guy he's just absolutely bursting to say something.
You just said you don't want to price people out of university. You just blatantly lied to us. That's what your whole thing is about. Your variable figures. So that means that people who can't afford them aren't going to be able to go there and they're going to stay in poverty.
No,
this is blatantly what you want.
Okay. What I'm saying is, if you've had a system, if you came back and said that some institutions within fact, whatever it be, I don't know, which charge variable amounts. But I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm saying the principle is, I think institutions should give you much better information about the fees they're charging, why they're charging them, how they can justify that. If we're saying as a principle that people go on and get better jobs, then how can you prove that? So I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm saying you should have more information to make a decision.
Even if the university is saying your Tories talk is like 10 grand tuition, which is ridiculous, and that's going to mean a lot of people can't go to university. And it's just people from like lower class backgrounds won't be able to go to university.
No, we've said that we will wait for the results. But the principle is important, which is why it's one of the biggest.
So you're going to wait for the results?
That's the point. The principle is that probably people have to make a contribution after they graduate to pay for their tuition fees. So that principle is what we said. What the fees are, we don't know.
If you want people to pay back for the better university, surely when you go to university, you'll get a better job. And you'll be paying maybe like 50% of the actual your wages. How is that not paying back for society for what they do?
We do, yes, you're right.
So why do you need tuition fees if you've got this as well?
Well, you do that anyway, but in addition to something costing additional.
Why don't you just take some of the money out of the expenses and pay for tuition?
Out there. But the principle is, yes, you're right. Everyone pays the higher rate of income tax. There are plenty of people who didn't go to university who pay the higher rate of income tax. But what you're talking about is a graduate tax, sort of what we're talking about, where people pay more depending on the type of jobs they get after university, but only for graduates and students. We're not talking about the same thing. It's not enough. It's not enough.
Excuse me, very interesting, this is great, but we do have to stop.